As I continue my lawn mowing business, I realize that there is another element that I have not taken into consideration. Before I can mow a lawn, I have to drive there, set out the yellow cones, pull down the ramp, unload the lawnmower, etc. After I'm done at a house, I have to reverse my steps, load up, and move out. All of this activity is not part of the processing itself, but rather setup activity that needs to be done in preparation for processing. I decide on a clever strategy. I am going to line up a whole bunch of customers on a single street, drive once to that street, and get all those houses with just a single setup. That is, after each setup, I am going to process a batch of houses. Here are the number of customers I have on each street. The Type A houses are mansions, and the house has its own street. For the Type B houses, I managed to get an average of 5 houses on each street. For the Type C houses, I managed to get an average of 10 houses on each street. The setup time for these houses ranges from 24 to 30 minutes. For the Type A houses, I am setting up once for each house. Therefore, I have 50 setups at 0.5 hour each, which comes to a total setup time of 25 hours. For the Type B houses, I am setting up once for every 5 houses. For 100 houses, I will need 20 setups at 0.4 hour each, for a total of 8 hours. For the Type C houses, I am setting up once for every 10 houses. For 250 houses, I will need 25 setups at 0.5 hour each, for a total of 12.5 hours. Adding up all the processing and setup times, I see that I need 370.5 hours each week. If each employee gives me 40 hours, which I discount by a capacity cushion of 10%, I will need 10.3 employees. So I should get myself 10 full-time employees, 1 part-time employee, and 11 lawn mowers. I will need to rethink my trucks. Let me go with 4 smaller trucks, each with a crew of 2 employees, and a 5th larger truck with a crew of 2 to 3 employees. We have combined all the calculations we have undertaken so far into a concise format as shown. As we can see, each term in the numerator stands for a type of customer and includes the processing time and the setup time. We can generalize our calculations to a general formula. In this formula, D stands for the demand over a certain period of time. In our case, the demand per week. P stands for the processing time per unit. So D times P is the total processing time. Q is the size of each batch, in our case the number of houses per street. Therefore, D divided by Q gives us the number of setups. Multiplying by S, the time for each setup, gives us the total setup time. We do this for each type of output, or product, or customer type. In the denominator, N is the amount of time that each resource is available during our planning period. In our case, each employee gives us 40 hours per week. We then discount this number by the capacity cushion, C.